What? What's more? We have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? What is evidence?
Do I really need to explain this? Oh no, I think it's coming back to me. Just show me it. It's this affidavit. Baphomet.
And who's this Baphomet from? Baphomet.
The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the lab lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day. Yes, quite.
Was it a blackout?
All the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor. So you're saying the equipment lost power because... Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break. Oh, really? That means they could have broken from... Let me check that again. The smallest bump could have caused them to break, so... Do we have any small bumps that could have easily caused them to break? The old power cable broke due to some sort of impact, and it could have been a lot of things. Interesting.
If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Faye. Do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor? I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion. Oh boy, what's the opinion?
Let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break?
What? That is not what I was getting at, but okay. Okay. Who or what? The umbrella, of course. So was it Doug falling into it? Does this work? Well, if not, we're gonna get our first penalty. This is it. This is why the cable snapped. Well, Your Honor.
I believe the only thing that has snapped is the mind of the defense. Do we get a penalty for this?
That was one of your best lines yet, Your Honor. Niff. Ouch. That was harsh. Please, Your Honor. Oh, no penalty. Why do they do this? Seriously, why is there no penalties? Or is there?
Let's hear it.
No penalty. Like, what? Why do they even... What is even the point of asking this if there's no penalties? It's just like what I was talking about. I just recorded a part of... well, I didn't just record it, but I just edited it. A part of the Pokemon my Pokemon Leaf Green LP, where I had to get 2 trash cans in... You know, the 2 trash can buttons in Lieutenant Surge's gym. There's really no point to doing it, though, because there's no risk to doing it. So it's just wasting your time. It's the same thing here. I don't get a penalty for getting it wrong, so this is just a waste of time to actually make me pick something. Anytime it doesn't give me a penalty for getting it wrong, I shouldn't have to pick it. That's my thoughts on the matter. I was gonna say Doug swallowed when he was pushed into it, but either way works, I guess. At least either way should work. Anyways. Please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that...
The lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Shove of power!
There was that little spark when he shoved, right? Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion. And it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted. Not quite. Not so fast. I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved.
Aha! Locations.
See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right. The victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted.
Not quite. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground here.
Aha! Proof! Take that! I have real proof!
In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. Well, that's not necessarily true, but sure, let's go with that. Bullshit to the max.
Order! Order! Orders in my court! Someone bring me orders now!
Ha, the lamentations of my enemy, how I've longed to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have done it.
Mr. Judge, sir, may I say something? The Madam Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them. And now you're objecting to me when I'm saying something that helps the defendant. Gee. I wonder what your true intentions are.
Woof.
What? Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please? Mr. Judge, please?
Well, okay. I'm a pussy. She got a pee for my shirt. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. She's taking off her sheep's clothing, but not being very revealing. She's still so concealed. The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Doggy tried his best to run away from him, but Feeney caught up and crashed into him from behind. Oh, this reminds me so much of Case 2 of the first game. And the person who said that last time was a big fat liar. Maybe not fat, but similar to you. Bitch in sheep's clothing. The cable snapping, Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute.
So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that is when the defendant pushed him for the second time. I'm so sorry, Feeney, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
You would be if it was actually the truth. Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
With pleasure.
What I witnessed, Part 2!
So, last time I asked, who is your favorite prosecutor? Now I'm gonna ask, who's your favorite assistant? It could be Maya, it could be, Emma, it could be... Who else counts? Does Pearl count? Nah, sure, she counts a little bit. It could be Trucy, it could be Kay, and there's probably someone new in Dual Destinies. I'm not sure if she would count as an assistant or not. I haven't played the game. But, yeah, let me know who your favorite assistant is and why, unless it's from the one from Dual Destinies, in which case don't tell me why. I don't want spoilers. My favorite is probably Kay. Yeah, a lot of my favorite characters are actually in Ace Attorney Investigations. Yeah, just, she's a thief. It's great. She's working with law enforcement. It's crazy. Anyways, Diddy pushed him twice. Sounds like some bullshit to me. Miss Hawthorne, previously in your testimony you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment when he pushed Dougie. I know, I'm sorry, I wanted to protect Feeny. So that's why you basically lied to the court. I was a bad girl, I know. But you like being a bad girl, don't you? Mr. Judge?
Yes?
Would you please forgive little old me?
Of course he won't! What you did is called perjury! Oh, come now, when does that ever matter in my court anyways? We'll forget about it this time, and every time, as long as you only make once or twice, you lie. We don't care, even though in real court you would care, but at least we won't care from now on, alright?
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Judge.
Not at all! Oh, Merry Christmas!
Judge has better be more careful himself. A dark alley is friendlier than that girl.
The first... not the judge. This is her, not the judge.
The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke.
Really now?
You're saying you actually saw the victim get pushed in the electrical pole? I know he doesn't look it, but Feeny can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be.
Imp? Sure that's the word you're looking for?
Oh, really? But I never imagined that he would cause an electrical cable to break. Feeny really is scary when he gets mad.
You really want to call him an imp? Is that really the best term? Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed.
Way to beef up the murder conviction. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him.
Really?
So let me get this straight. You were happily listening to music on your headphones while you watched the scene unfold? What?
Miss Faye, I'll have to ask you to stop badgering the witness. It's not badgering, it's beavering. Big difference.
I wasn't happy. I was so scared that I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on.
Cheer them on? Cheer them on? What do you mean by that?
What a typical excuse. So scared you couldn't move? Well, I wished the best for them both, and that they would each give the fight their all.
Justice for all! Give them both. That's very sweet of you to be so supportive.
Not quite. You should support your current boyfriend more than your old boyfriend.
And what happened after that?
But Feeny caught up and crashed into him from behind. I don't think there were any fingerprints. Let me just check this, see if there's anything suspicious in the pressing. That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints found on the back of his leather jacket?
No, there weren't.
Madam Faye, may I suggest that you listen a little more carefully?
Huh? What'd you say, bitch?
I said that he crashed and moved behind, right? My Feeny wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he?
You and your clever wording.
Cable snapping. Did you actually witness the moment the victim...
Oh, I think I just got it.
I think. Because, time of death is 3 p.m. When did the cable break? 2:55. That's what it was. I completely forgot. I was just like, do I have to press something? I'm sorry. I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away.
That's understandable. Yes, indeed. It would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold.
If I don't figure out the contradiction here. It's all over. Yeah, I know what it is now. Yeah, I know what it is now. Yeah, I know what it is now. Yeah, there must be a hole. There is. I know what it is.
I know what it is! I know what the hole is! I found the plot hole.
Where's the... All in less than a minute. An to the jection. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture? Oh, that medicine! That's the one Feeny likes to take for his cold. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. I guess there were multiple things to present to this one, unlike the other one. Why couldn't I present Doug? Because he was the one who was shoved into it. He was the cause. Phoenix was just the instigator. It's not the precise time the victim was electrocutioned. In other words, 3:05 p.m.?
I thought it was 3 p.m. Whatever, close enough.
Yes, your point is, Miss Fay? Actually, in this case, it's not close enough, because we're talking about a 5-minute difference versus a 1-minute difference. Point is this. What time was it when the lab suffered the power outage due to the cable snapping? Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was 2:55 p.m. Yeah! Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? What exactly happened during the 10-minute interval? Bitch! The defense proposes that it was during this interval the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow. Oops, you shouldn't have said that in 1 minute, because that really dug your own coffin. Well, not necessarily. It just makes your testimony a lot less credible. Order in the court, hors d'oeuvres! No hors d'oeuvres! The pain is talking! This is nonsense! The real murderer? Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the execution are completely unaccounted for. Oh yeah, objection battle. I love having these. Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it? Objection myself! No one stops me when I'm talking about my hors d'oeuvres. There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene was there a window of opportunity for the real killer. Gasp! Miss Fay! Is the defense ready to indicate someone as this real killer? Who else is in this case that isn't the victim or the defendant, or any of the law enforcement? I think it's kinda obvious. It's been this way every time in the first 3 games. It's always the one other person. This time there's a bit of a twist, but we'll get to that later. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor, we are ready. Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you'll be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Fay. Now then, Miss Fay, let's have it. Who is the real killer? Obviously, it's Cold Killer X! I'm just kidding. Marvin Grossberg, yes! No, it's Dahlia Hawthorne. No shit, Sherlock. How old is she? It could have only been you, Dahlia Hawthorne. So she's like 20? Is that? Yeah, give me profiles. How old is everyone? You're 49, wow. 20, 22, 21, 61. Interesting. Okay. What? How can you? That's right, bitch. The defense is grasping at straws. Grasping at straws? Just look at the witness's face. Ah, conjure Phoenix, do it. 10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing during that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe you didn't lift a finger to stop the man dearest to you. Bitch! Counteract that! Order, order! Miss Fay! I don't need outdoors right now, this is serious! What? I mean, why? That is to say... Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the 2 men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. Ah!